Toby. Come here, Toby. Toby, come here. Toby, come here. Come here, Toby. Come here, dude. What's up? You made it way too easy that time, buddy. Way too easy. Oh my god, dude. I was paying attention to the camera and he grabbed it out of my damn hand. What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. Today, currently, Braven's at work. He only has 2 days off a week, you know, like normal. And he's been working a lot of hours, bro. He leaves at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then he doesn't get home until 6, 7 o'clock at night. He's been working like 12-hour days. Just busting his ass, trying to make some money to get caught up on his projects, obviously. He hasn't had time to pull the transmission out of the Yukon, so I figured today I would go ahead and do that for him because, you know, I'm chilling at home. I need something to do today. So it's not going to be a fun task, especially by myself. Well, I guess we do have Toby and Puppers to help, huh? Puppers is patiently waiting for the sprinkler to turn off because he likes running around the yard chasing bugs. Ain't that right, man? You little fluffy. All right, you guys gonna let me lay down here without messing with me? Puppers is like, no. Toby's like, I won't mess with you. You don't mess with my ball. All right, let me get under here, bud. Let me get under here. Come on, man. All right, so this transmission, I don't know if any of you guys have ever pulled a all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive. But yeah, the transfer case being on there makes it a lot more difficult. And honestly, since Braven just resealed that, I don't want to separate it and remove them, you know, separately. But anyhow, I'm going to try to get this done by myself so we can get this thing up on a bench. I would like to pull the oil pump out of it, and there's freaking ants crawling all over me. All right, first things first is I'm gonna have to take the leaf blower and try to get rid of some ants. I was watching some videos, and I guess whenever you pull the oil pump off, you can actually open the oil pump up and like look at the gears and stuff on the inside. So I don't know, I think it would be really nice to open it up and just confirm our suspicions of that pump being bad. Because, I mean, who knows, man? It might be something else. I really doubt that it's something else, but that's the goal today, is to find out. So only having one jack has been a pain in the ass around here because my good jack, it actually stopped pumping on us quite some time ago. It's been down for a little while, and I'm pretty sure that it is just low on hydraulic fluid. So I'm gonna be filling it up. You gotta remove the cover right here on the top. This is for most floor jacks, man. And then there's a valve right there, right on top of the pump. The little flathead plug. Pull that out, and then you could actually see that's where your hydraulic fluid goes, or in our case, I'm just going to be using transmission fluid. If you guys have never done this before, you just got to add a little bit of fluid in there at a time and then just kind of pump it and get all the air out. So whenever I pump this, you can actually see the fluid going through there. Boy, when I pulled that thing off right now, a lot of air came out. But yeah, just add a little bit at a time, pump it to get the air out, a little more, a little more. You don't want to overflow it, but we definitely got to get it full. I'd really like to have this jack back. So I seen in the comments on the last video where we're working on the Yukon, somebody said that Braven ought to upgrade his torque converter, and I don't think all of you guys know, or maybe you just missed it, but he does have a billet torque converter. Focus down there, damn it. So he does have an FTI torque converter in it. It's got like a 3,500 stall or something like that. I obviously don't know the specifics on it because it was in there when he got the Yukon. So previous owner actually had that installed when they did the cam on the previous engine. So anyhow, my plan here is I got this thing up this time. Dude, this is a struggle to get this son-of-a-bitch up like this. On the end of the jack, I had to use a block, so. But we got it done, man, and good news, the jack is working once again. Go figure, whenever it's low on hydraulic fluid, the hydraulics don't work. Anyhow, I should probably get down in there and grab that torque converter out before it tries to fall out, potentially on my face. The plan here is I want to use the engine hoist. I'm gonna use the engine hoist on the front and just strap to the front to the bell housing on the transmission, and then I'm gonna put a jack underneath the cross member down there. There's a cross member that goes across. There's a cross member that goes across. There's a cross member that goes across that bolts in. That's where the transmission mount actually connects. I'm gonna unbolt that cross member with the jack under it and then lower it with the hoist supporting the front of the transmission, and then I should be able to just lower it down slowly onto a cart. That's the plan, man. This should go a lot smoother than last time, just trying to muscle it up in there. That transmission is serious, bro. Good lord. But I am gonna have to set his engine down, so I need to get some blocks or something, figure out a way to set this thing down. I almost forgot all about these damn cooler lines. That would have sucked trying to lower it down. I'm like, the hell ain't it moving for? Got that heavy ass thing out of there. Cooler line disconnected. Front of the transmission is hooked up to the engine hoist. Now I just need to disconnect the shift linkage, and everything else is downhill from there. Alright, got this thing up on the bench, so now we can actually work on it. I was watching some videos on how to pull this pump. Like I mentioned before, I've never done one of these before. So what better way to learn than, you know, to watch some YouTube videos on it. So the pump is actually right here in front. So to remove the pump, we actually have to take out these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bolts actually pulls the pump out. But before we can do that, we actually need to take one of the shift solenoids out down here that it actually goes into the pump. So you will damage that trying to pull the pump out if you don't pull that first. So we do need to go ahead and take the oil pan off really quick. All right, now we gotta go ahead and pop this filter out of the way, which I don't believe there's anything holding it on. I think it just pops in. Yep, just give it a little wiggle and that thing will come right out of there. So I don't remember what it is they called this solenoid, but it's this one on the, if the transmission was sitting in the vehicle, this would be the passenger side. Unplug this clip, and then there is a pin down here that you have to pull out, and then that solenoid pops out, and that's just so that you can access this I believe they called it a TCC lockup solenoid or something like that. There's 2 10s holding that in. Take those 2 10s out, and then this thing just drops straight down. It actually has an O-ring and everything on the end of it because it plugs straight up into the oil pump itself. So that's the reason why we have to remove that. Right on my phone. Lovely. So that right there was plugging into the oil pump, and that's the reason why we needed to remove it. And even to get this out, it had the 210 millimeters holding it. To pull that out, you have to remove this solenoid because this was actually in front of it, stopping you from being able to pull that one out. So yeah, once you remove those 2 things, now the only thing standing in our way are these 7 bolts right here, which I thought I was going to have to remove the bell housing. You do not have to remove the bell housing. You can just pull these 7 bolts, and then the oil pump will come off in this direction. In which the video that I was watching, the guy actually had a puller. So there's a puller that clamps onto the shaft right here, and then you tighten it right here and it pulls it or whatever. It was a really dope looking tool, and I was like, great, now I got to go out and get a puller, right? But I was going through the comments, and there were so many people in there like, oh, I've done 3,654 of these transmissions and never once had to use a puller. I don't know, man. There was a bunch of people just in there ragging on the dude for using a puller and that you don't need it. So I'm assuming you don't need it. I guess there's 2 ways of doing it. An easy way with a puller and a hard way without one. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Are those 13s? Yes, those are 13s. I'm gonna go around and make sure that all these bolts are the same exact length before I just go ripping them all out of here. So far, so good. Yep, all the same length. I was looking back on that video at the puller the guy was using. I literally have one, bro. I had no idea that I had one, but I freaking literally have one. Dude, what the hell? I was so excited. I went in there going through all my boxes of specialty tool stuff, and sure enough, there's one just sitting up there on the shelf. Never used it, but I've got one. Yeah, that worked absolutely flawlessly, man. So if anybody needs one of these, that's what it is. It is a bearing separator and puller set. Pittsburgh, obviously from the good old Harbor Freight. All right, so that's it. And here comes our moment of truth. I'm pretty sure that we're capable of separating this so we could actually look inside. There's a bunch of bolts underneath here. So I'm just gonna start pulling bolts out and hopefully we can get to the internals and see if there's anything broken. Is it a 13? Of course it is. Oh yeah, chunks are falling out. I don't know where that came from. That's a little broken chunk. Oh yeah, there we go. That is definitely broken. That actually feels really good though, knowing that we were not wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that is definitely cracked right there. And I don't know exactly where this chunk came out of, but it came out of there from somewhere. It's not supposed to be here, that's for sure. Anyhow, this thing is most certainly oh look, there's another chunk in there. Right there. Another, I would say little chunk, but that's a pretty big chunk. Good Lord, oh, there's another one. There's just chunkers all over the place, man. This thing is just full of chunkers. Oh, I see what's going on. So this metal ring right here is supposed to be one piece. That's not supposed to be multiple pieces like this. So this separating like this, it's not supposed to be able to do that. So yeah, that whole black metal ring right there in the center is broken. That'll do it. All right, guys, well, there you have it, man. That's how you pull an oil pump out of a 4L60E. And I imagine it's probably the same for the 4L80 as well, and probably most transmissions. I don't freaking know. This was my first time. It was relatively easy. I'm lucky I had that puller. That made it a lot easier, let me tell you what. Anyhow, I'm gonna wait for Braven to get home from work. We need to figure out exactly where the best place is to purchase a new pump. I don't know if that's something that you should be getting from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's, or if we should be doing like the dealer, or maybe even looking at something on Jegs that hopefully won't do this to him again. But we're gonna figure that out. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And just to let you know, if you are doing this for yourself, I guess there are differences in the pumps. There's older models and then there's newer models. So you need to pay close attention to which one it is that you have. And if you're going to purchase a new one, I would take the old one with you and make sure to check and see if there's any differences or whatever in it, because they will not cross. Like, you can't use an older model on a newer model transmission, vice versa. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. Peace, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.